Be like Joe Pyfer. In the words of Dana White, be like Joe Pyfer. And if you're anything like that man, then you've somehow supplanted Abdul Razak Alhassan, and you're the A side now, and you're a massive favorite. But when I look at this matchup, and I love me the prospect of Joe Pyfer, I love the power, I love the intangibles, I love what he brings to the octagon, I find it somewhat crazy that Abdul Razak Alhassan, a man with crazy knockout power, so many first-round knockouts, is being discounted so heavily. Are you concerned about that at all?
100%, Derek. When I was expecting to look at these odds, I thought Abdul Razak Alhassan was going to be the top favorite. He's going to be the guy, man. And sure enough, Dana White, I guess he has that Midas touch, or at least Midas voice, speaking Joe Pyfer into the favorite as a open minus 370. I don't know what the odds have swelled to now, but I know that, man, a lot of people are backing Joe Pyfer, and this is going to be a very fun fight because of it, because he is that entertaining guy. He has that power. He has the pop. Now he just needs a little bit of mic time to get the boy going and rise into the stars. This is going to be a fun one, Derek. Do you see gold in Joe Pyfer's belt, or is he just going to be a fun time for a while he's here? What do you think?
I think it's way too early to even be talking about or discussing gold with Joe Pyfer. Let's not forget 185 pounds middleweight division. He's nowhere near the top 15 right now, but I will say he's got the prospects to really make a run. You knock out GM3, you got a big win against Alan Amadovsky. That's a good start. That's a good start. Let's see what he can do here against Alhassan. And I'll tell you this much, man. In the grand scheme of things, the thing that concerns me more than anything about this is that you have to admit, Alhassan, his biggest problem is just volume. That's it. Joe Pyfer can win this fight on volume. And to touch base on what you said earlier, yeah, minus 370 open, swole to a minus 430 favorite. So, like, this is a very concerning line to me, because if you've seen Abdul Razak Alhassan open up, he puts it on people, and all he needs to do is just walk you down, put you up back against the cage so that he can open up with the big flurries. Or what have we been seeing a lot? A lot of wrestling coming from Alhassan, man. And not even real wrestling, but cage wrestling. Get him up against the wall, clench him up, and just wear on him, zap out a little bit of that energy. How concerning is the volume issue here? Because if Joe Pyfer can get his shots off, like I said, he can win on volume alone, but it's a matter of the more you open up, the more Alhassan has an opportunity to counter you and to knock you out. So what do you think about that?
I was a little worried for it, Derek, because every time when I was breaking fight breakdown for Alhassan, excuse me, that's what he's been doing the most at least lately, and doing the best at, man, controlling the octagon, pushing you up against a cage, zapping that energy, and getting the fight to where he is most successful at it. And can he do that to Joe Pyfer? Yes, he has this monstrous way about just holding the octagon down and not submitting to your will going forward. But Joe Pyfer, if he is able to maintain that range, if he is able to work that big right hand he throws, it is a problem for Alhassan, especially if he's going to shoot one of those shots from outside, from just a little too far from where he should be. If he's a half step back, he will be eating a right hand, and Joe Pyfer has the fast hands to get it done. Are you worried about it at all yourself? I'm curious.
What I'm really worried about right here, man, is, it's that opening up of Alhassan on Joe Pyfer right there. It's the opposite. It's Abdul Razak Alhassan opening up on Joe Pyfer from just the opportunities that he's throwing out there with the volume. But the other part about it, too, is that for Joe Pyfer, man, I mean, all it takes is one clean shot from this guy, right? But you're fighting a dude who, what worries me is that Joe Pyfer is knocking out all these guys, and when you don't have that same success, when you knock out everybody else, it can be a little demoralizing. And let's not forget that for Alhassan specifically, loss against Joaquin Buckley, split decision. Munir Laziz, decision. Omari Akhmedov, split decision. These are all dudes who have tremendous knockout power, who have not come anywhere close to finishing Alhassan like that. You know what I mean? So when we really put it in those odds, man, I want to look at it as, what does a decision victory look like for Joe Pyfer? What has to take place for him to win a decision over Alhassan versus just clean starching him?
That's an interesting thought, Derek, because if Joe Pyfer wants to win this one on decision, he's going to need to be staying on his bike the whole time, cutting angles, working the jab, basically playing that very technical point style fighting, if you will. Not really his style. I mean, Joe Pyfer, a little bit. Joe Pyfer does have, like I say, the striking to get it really done, but he's more into knocking people out and has the power to get it done. So you're right. That's where I'm curious and how his mental's going to be. The old saying goes, any boat can have a good captain in the calm, but what happens when those waters start getting a little bloody? Alhassan is over there holding you down, beating you up. Can Joe Pyfer mentally surpass that and achieve, greatness through that aspect? That's going to be there, right? That's my question right there, Derek, because this is going to be the test for him. This is a great litmus test for Joe Pyfer going into this, to how he's going to succeed going into the UFC further. This one's a lot of fun. I don't really have an answer for you, just because it could happen a multitude of different ways. But I don't see the knockout on this one. This one's going to be a fun fight. I think it might go all the way, but we'll see. What do you think?
This one makes me wonder if Joe Pyfer is going to try to open up and shoot. You know what I mean? Joaquin Buckley had a lot of success shooting against Alhassan, but that's the thing, is that I felt like Joaquin Buckley was a little overwhelmed by the power of Alhassan. I'm not sure if Pyfer will be, but if he does, we could see a shot happening here. I want to entertain that decision a little bit further, man. It's easy from 2 knockout artists to predict a knockout, but this could be Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou. You know what I mean? Not nearly the stakes or, anything like that, but so let me just ask you this. We're really high on Joe Pyfer. Clearly, we keep talking about his path to victory, but for Alhassan, it's pretty clear. Clinch, hit him with the big shot, right? This fight takes place 10 times. How many times do you think that Pyfer actually gets a win over Alhassan?
That's a good question, Derek. Right now, I'd say 6 out of 10. A little bit closer, just because I'm so worried about Alhassan actually being able to control the octagon and how that makes Joe Pyfer perform. If we can see, like I said, this is why this is a litmus test. If we can see him surpass that, then I might say a little bit more. But right now, I think it's a little closer to that 50-50 mark. What about you?
Yeah, I would say probably 6 as well. And the reason why is because, one, Alhassan has the opportunity to open up at all times right there. He's got nasty head kicks. He's more flexible than people give him credit for. He's not a one shot at a time guy all of the time. When he opens up and gives you the big 3, 4, 5 shots in a row, that's when he really hurts people, because they don't know where to go. You just walk in a straight line backwards and you get clipped. But here's the other thing we have to take into consideration. This is the part that nobody's really thinking about. There's over a 10-year age gap here, man. Alhassan is 38 years old, man. So speed goes, athleticism goes, but that power remains forever. It's just hard to land that power. I do not like minus 145 TKO odds for Joe Pyfer, but I will entertain that plus 450 decision. So that's what I like there. AJ, you see it any different?
No, I see it the exact same way as you, Derek. I think Joe Pyfer is going to really work to surpass him. I don't see him finishing Alhassan, though. Give me that decision at plus 450 as well.